specific. No, let's stay.
Yeah, as long as it looks there. Right.
But you tell me if you ever have a problem.
Oh, hold on, make sure it's not this.
Actually.
Oh, I'm sorry. On there's a switch.
I see it. I got it. Ready to test? Ooh.
Okay, back here. Go ahead.
Testing. Test. I'm not there. I'm back. I'm there. I'm gone. We have a lot of people here because I expected none.
Good. That's great. It's good expectation.
Okay. Testing.
Okay, what do you need now?
Testing.
Yes.
I can do it from the front of the house if I need to.
So good time to take a breath. There we are.
Please.
Day 4, for those of you who have been here all weekend. All right.
Let's not take a chance. So I need a little pencil because I don't want, I'll find one over here. And I'll probably, before I'm done, kill myself on this wire.
It's your E40 window.
Here you go.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Is it your proper thing?
It is.
There you go. You're in your shot.
So I
Okay.
have the option of advancing from here to initiate.
Yeah, you can do either one. I just heard just like, which means check your thing. One, yeah, one goes with the other. Did you go to the next slide? Did you go to the next slide? Yeah, there you go. You can control there either way.
Thanks.
Okay, wow.
Sorry for the delay.
What's your first name?
Matthew.
Pleasure.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate
Dean
it.
Matthew. God, he's been the man of the hour all weekend long.
Whenever you
Do you want to sit there?
Okay.
Huh?
Are we all ready?
Water, is this yours or not?
But you make sure you have some.
I won't.
Okay.
We'll wait.
You set?
Do you want to come closer?
I would love to, but I think I'm going to sit here and be the gatekeeper, if that's okay.
You're going to what?
Be the
I'm gonna sit here
gatekeeper.
and be the gatekeeper, if that's okay.
No. I want you to, you're probably the most important person in the place. I want you close. And I don't think that they're going to get a battering ram and
Okay.
charge us.
I need to answer one question
Sure.
real quick and look something up to my colleague, and then I'll be ready.
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you. Okay, so what else is there? We're going to have feedback. So, okay, so, and I do get pretty loud. And I really appreciate this, that it amplifies my voice. It should be easier for you. This screen was good. This is going to work, everybody, but it's still too small. We really should have had 82-inch monitor, 85-inch monitor, or something. But this is what we got. I had no budget, or I would have brought in what I wanted. Okay, so first of all, it's a privilege. It's a privilege to meet everybody. I'm very bad at names. My name's Marko Rodin. I haven't begun. I won't begin till I get the signal. Everybody came here for different reasons. I don't know why you're here. If I disappoint you, tell me. And I'll do my best to try. When I get closer to this, this is the one. So don't move within this. That's the secret. Okay.
What if you put them in front of them?
I'm fine.
You're good. Stay within the zone.
Stay within the zone. I'm in the zone.
Right.
Okay. So So we know I should have been more prepared. We know that I should have better equipment. Not the equipment here, but I like big screens is what I'm referring to, because it's easier for you. And you don't know the massive amount of preparation that went into this talk in the last month by Lisa. And the other thing you don't know is I'm really not into speaking publicly with people. You would think I want to, but the subject matter, and because the basics are easy to explain. The principles, the axioms, the fundamental verities of it are easy to explain. But what I've assimilated, my perspective, how I have advanced it is very hard. Now, if I hadn't been working with Lisa, and Lisa has kept me on task on this presentation for the last month, I would have been studying quantum mechanics, computer science, explaining how to make this into a perfect superconducting, perfect computer that can do anything, obsolete to everything known to man. Windows, Apple. But I can't, because this presentation, this was the priority. And I don't even read the news. I open it, file it, save it, back it up, and I'm hoping I'm going to get to it. I'm behind in the news for a month even. I don't keep up with anything because of this presentation. Are we ready?
I'm ready, whenever you are.
She's ready. But you can't see the board. Oh, you can see it. You have it right there. Okay.
Content.
Okay.
Good luck.
All right. So I'm going to say it again. Lisa gets all the blame if this fails. I'm just kidding.
Oh, I knew.
Okay.
Blame it on me. So I was saying that what I've tried to do in this conversation is not only cover some of the basics, but explain the impossible stuff, where I'm coming from. So I don't like to talk with people anymore, and because I need to just be alone and talking to the camera and videotape myself. So I approved me speaking here to create the requirement to create a presentation. And everybody rose to the challenge, the people around me. I deliberately put us under a deadline so that we would preserve and document my work. Because my work, although it's been on the internet for decades, doesn't even barely touch what this discovery is. So this presentation is a first. It's going to be a first in every regard. You're going to see a perfect hologram. You're going to see what controls a black hole. You're going to see you're going to understand. Oh, I was supposed to be introduced by our MC. Where is she? There she is. So I'm done for the minute. All right. Well,
But she's nice. She didn't interrupt me.
how nice to have you here.
Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing on this fine Monday morning?
Oh, awesome.
Post-conference.
Yeah.
How many of you are here all weekend?
Right here.
Great. How many first time this weekend? Love it.
And you know, it's really interesting because this is the 17th annual Conscious Life Expo.
Wow.
And so I have been here for 17 years as one of the founders of this event, and I watched it grow for 17 years. And it's so exciting to welcome all the new people that have been here this year. And many have come because of speakers like we have this morning with us here. New information that has never been shared before. Wide breadth of body, mind, spirit, multidimensional, multi-generational, multilingual. I love that about Conscious Life Expo. You are the reason why we're here. Always know that. Without you, without the audience, we wouldn't be here. This year we had Gaia filming a lot of events. This event will be available. It is being filmed. It will be available within a couple of hours after it occurs today. So you can all bring home this information, which is great. Is that okay with you?
How much is the DVD?
$10.
And who's filming it? Is it an in-house crew or Gaia?
It's the in-house crew.
That's fine.
Okay, good. All right, as long as we have that cleared. Okay, so this is your opportunity. Now, we're going to go over past the 1:30 mark by a little bit so that you get your full 2.5 hours, because I have a feeling that what we're going to hear today is going to be unique. Never before, right? Marko Rodin, biomagtronics. And, you know, from the quantum to AI, beyond, beyond, beyond. I think you're in for an amazing morning. So put your hands together, give a warm, wonderful, conscious life welcome to Marko Rodin. Thank you, Marko.
Thank you, everybody. Okay, it's accurate. It's never before in Western civilization by Western academia. This discovery is timeless. It's existed forever. It'll exist forever in the past, forever in the future. It usually is a part of most civilizations and cultures and gets lost by the upheavals of the changes of geography and not only do we always talk about the conspiracy of our governments and our society, but there's a conspiracy going all the way up to the top in the other worlds, in heaven. And because apparently when this knowledge is revealed, they say that everybody came rushing out of their chambers, and when the second letter was pronounced, when the first letter was pronounced, they all rushed out of their chambers. This is in the hidden words. And when the second letter was pronounced, they all fell down upon the dust. And then there was heard from the inmost shrine, thus farther and no farther. And the saying is, verily we bear witness to what they have done and now are doing. And what that's alluding to is the third letter, which is the Aleph, which in Arabic, Farsi, Hebrew, Farsi is Persian, the major religions, Zoroastrianism, the Quran, the Bible, the Torah. I'm a Bahá'í faith, whose scriptures are in Arabic and Persian. All those languages always have an Aleph, and their Aleph always represents God. And they don't have any vowels written in the language. They only have the vowel symbols, diacritical marks. And so all their alphabet is consonants. And it turns out that even the Aleph is a consonant. That's a little tricky. And it turns out that if you get the precise mystic intonation of the most great name of God, that you will come to know what you have not known of all the states of sanctity. You will receive divine guidance. You will reach the apex of consciousness. It's supposed to be bestow immortality without death. By the way, I'm just winging it, because she inspired me. And that's why I'm here today. Because I'm not disciplined enough to do things that don't interest me. And this topic is my first love. So the topic is the most great name of God. Now, so the most holy thing in all those religions, your religions, everyone's religions, is in the Bible, the Torah, the Quran, is the name of God. You desecrate that, and it's not the word God, because in those languages, it's a sound, and they say it permeates the universe. The universe was created after it. So all this math and everything we're doing, I'm claiming to have decrypted, to literally figured out God's icon. I have figured out, I'm going to be showing you God's brainwave encephalogram pattern, because the whole universe is permeated by it. We live in the kingdom of emanation. Everything's emanating. We're all interacting with each other. A solar system doesn't look like it's connected because there's so vast the distance of the planets, but we see it from an overview from Earth. We see that it is indeed moving in a spiral. It's a vortex. Whether it's imploding or exploding, we know the pathway things take. There's only so many kinds of galaxies for the most part, and they follow the same mathematical trajectory. And so the name of God, I discovered, explains that pathway. All I'm going to be sharing with you is the pathway that energy flows as it moves into the future. What I'm doing is so predictive that it obsoletes everything in computer science. We're going to be looking at all the branches of math. We're looking at every known function, every known calculation occurring in the single model. And if there was anything in this model that was duplicated, it would be discarded, this model, because it would be redundant. If there's anything in this model that's omitted, it would be discarded. If there was ever a time when this model is wrong, it would be discarded. One of the hardest things to do in teaching this discovery to engineers and scientists, to experts, be it professors or corporate engineers, especially security experts in computers, especially hackers in computers, because you would think that they're cutting edge. They have to be to protect their computers, their clients. They're not. Because they all were taught in school, starting with basic arithmetic, because math was standardized, so we can all communicate whether it's right or wrong, it was standardized. They were taught notions, beliefs that are complete BS. You're never better than your equipment, your tools. And so everyone here was taught in the elementary school, I'm sure, with no exceptions, that we count in base 10 because we have 10 fingers. And then you can be, in computer science, you can go from the binary code to hexadecimal, base 12, base 15, total BS. Because the base 10 system is generated by 3. Because 3 is a prime, and my whole work is based on prime numbers. And then when we're done talking today, you're going to understand, by the way, prime numbers is what we use today for all bank wire transfers at night, all military communications. So for this discovery, I'm letting you know that it's based on prime numbers, and they're based on prime numbers that are squared, just like the inverse square law. And the name of this discovery is called prime number squared, the creation equation. And it turns out that the first true prime number, and this was, by the way, I have to say that this has been done by my friends, extended family, personal acquaintances, professors, engineers, my team. So everything I'm repeating to you actually is not exclusively my own discovery. This has been a group effort. And so it turns out that a true base number counting system that works on all axes, 3D and 3D space, up, down, right, left, front, back, has to be generated by a prime. In the base 10 system, so we're going to use as the control for this class, we're going to use base 10. I'm going to show you base 26, which is the next true prime number base system. And I will show you also base 50, which is the next one after, the third one after base 10. Because how did I get to base 50? Does everyone know how I did it? Because the third prime after 3, we're not dealing with 1 and 2. 2 is not really a true prime. The number 7 squared makes mod 49, that's a base counting system, base 50. Why is 49 and 50 two different things? Because 0 is not a number. So mod 49 is base 50, but because 0 is not a number, any base is always one number less than that base. That's why base 10 is called modular 9. It's also called radix 9, because it's not 1 through 10, it's 0 through 9. Now, every now and then we come across a saying, and bear in mind we're all talking math here, and I'm not a mathematician. I preface this about sound. In my field, self-taught, I call biophysical harmonics, which has to do with how to tap into and harness the underutilized remaining hypothetical 90% potential of the brain. I'm interested in intelligence. I'm interested in inspiration, divine guidance, communion with God, communion with each other, how the brain's an antenna, transmits and receives. And so I'm not a mathematician. I knew I wasn't saying the name of God correctly. I heard everybody else around me, all the different religious practitioners, the rosary beads, the chanters, the mantras, meditating and saying the name of God, and I recognized they had hit a glass ceiling. They don't want to say that, but they had. Because they weren't doing it right. They were doing it too slow, and they didn't realize that it was having such a pronounced encompassing impact on them. And it's not arbitrary. Some people think you can meditate on a candle, you can meditate on silence. Everything is in religion. Worship, dietary laws, meditation, and of course, the most sacred part is that holy name of God that brought the universe into being. And in religion, there's two things. There's the name of God and there's the Word of God, and they are distinct. The Word of God, as I understand it, and bear in mind everything I'm saying in this talk is my own spin. The Word of God created the name of God. And the Word of God is called the emblem of God because he's put just a smidgen, just the smallest little trace of his own self, just a mere emblem in it. I barely comprehend anything I'm talking about. Okay, so I will begin. That's why we do it. Oh, I have a riddle, another riddle for you. This was taught to me by Renge. She ran for decades the oldest and only metaphysical bookstore in Honolulu. Serious Books. It's not in business anymore because Border Books, when they were there, put them out of business because they were much bigger. And she once, and I was watching all these people coming out of the store. Everybody came into the store. And she turned to me and she said, "Why is a doctor a doctor?" Does anyone know why a doctor is a doctor? Because a doctor is trying to heal themselves. That's why a doctor is a doctor. That's what she said to me. And I found that to be very true. So I would think that the reason everyone's in this conference and coming to Whole Conscious Life Expo is because we're all pursuing that that ephemeral blessing that exists. Okay, so here we go. It's biometronics. That's the discovery in the center, repeating the A. Where's Indy? I will tell you when I'm ready. I'm not ready yet. It's a Marko Rodin presentation. I'm actually reading this to you, like Edgar Allan Poe. So biometronics is combining magnetism, electronics, and biology. Why? And my company is biometronics.com. Because I've refused to make weapons, okay? And everything I do makes a wonderful weapon, and I'm not willing to go there. And so I'm trying to present this discovery to you in the most positive, beneficial, to help humanity way I can. And so that's, whenever I can, I apply it to biology. Because the elimination of disease, elimination of starvation is my goal. The elimination of misery and suffering. Next, please. We only have a 30-hour slide presentation here. A fountain of numbers. Most of this stuff comes to me in my sleep, believe it or not, or just coming out of it. And of course, a lot of it comes to me when I'm awake. Vortex Based Mathematics actually came from a friend. But a fountain of numbers is what I do. It's just a spray. And I found what numbers are, where they came from. I was able to prove that numbers are real. Nature's expressing herself with numbers. If I talk like I'm just kind of like spewing it out, I am. Because to me, when I'm describing it to you, I've done since I was a teenager. I decrypted that symbol when I was 17 or 18 already. I had already decrypted the most great name of God. I'm 63. This is a little bit old to me now. I've been doing it a long time. That's one of the reasons I haven't done a public talk, I don't know in how long, at least 5 years. And then it was just, I don't know where. I talk all the time. On the way here, our taxi driver, believe me, he's an expert on this now. That's a 1800 year, in 1800, that's by Blake, the painting. He's touching where the 9 is. That is very significant that those 2 points don't touch. That is number 9. That's number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That is the lazy 8 infinity symbol. There are 2 different colors, the green. This is a triangle, this is red. Of course, this is 396. We're all familiar with Tesla's quote. If you knew the secret of 396, you would know the secret of the 369, he says. You would know the magnificence of the universe. There's so much to know about all this. It's very significant. That's where the missing 0 is. Only 9 lines up over 0. Today I will be explaining something that will not really click with you. It really won't, unless you're an engineer. Unless you're the finest, and my students are the finest of the finest, bar none. Okay, they come from Microsoft. They come from the biggest General Dynamics, the biggest weapons manufacturer in the world. Everybody has to come through my door if they want to be a master of their technology. And what I'm about to explain is just one thing. That 9 lines up over that 0 vertically, but no other number lines up over anything else vertically. Everything else lines up horizontally, except nothing lines up with the 0 either. So this is the relationship of how nothing creates everything, how the universe was brought into being. You're all very patient with me because when I listen to the claims I make, it's just unbelievable. Okay, and it's in a circle. Okay, next please. Spirit is irresistible, penetrates everything, and is the source of all motion, vibration, and time. Why did I start with that? I have found a numerical formula for spirit. Okay, so yes, I know when and where spirit is in 3D space, and more importantly, I know where it's not. Because if spirit was everywhere all at the same time, we'd have logjam. The trees going down the river would all come together and block it, okay, that are being passed from the lumber mill down. You can't have everything everywhere blocking it, okay? So spirit has a phasing. It has an activation sequence. It has a timing. That's true. I'm not even lightly embellishing it, okay? And I'm using it as a work wheel. I'm tapping into it. It's like the windmill or the, what are those things called in the water? Paddle wheel. Okay, I'm tapping into spirit. And there's a numerical formula for it. So what am I doing? I'm getting rid of calculus. I'm getting rid of equations. Or I'm giving them numerical equivalence. because calculus is never any better than the person speaking it. Whereas numbers are a part of our world. They're a part of creation. They have attributes, they have physical properties, and they have a timing, which is very important. That'll be almost impossible to explain the timing tonight in this class. But timing, the relationship to geometry or to tiles or to tempo and timing is an inherent part of this discovery. So spirit is also called prana, chi, tachyon, monopole, dark energy, dark matter. It's also called soliton, Higgins, God particle. It's what everybody wants right now. It's what the big race is that everybody's looking for. I've elected to use the term they use in the scriptures, which is spirit. I could easily substitute any other name for it. Now I'm going to do a quick stop. Any questions? Please.
Will we be able to see the images on a website or in the future?
Thank you for asking. I am not worried about my well-being. So I am not copywriting anything. I am not patenting anything. I'm not requiring any NDAs. So when we're done, whoever gets this video, I hope you put it up on your YouTube channel. You do whatever you want with it. It belongs to you. I'm, in fact, doesn't belong to me, this discovery. It's not my property. I'm just doing the best I can to make sure you understand it.
So we can take a photo of if we see something we like, it's okay?
It's existed forever.
Thanks, Marko. Right on.
It's my pleasure. Next one, please. Base 10 Abhatori. Now, every presentation I like to do differently, and it just so happens we're all here tonight when I'm starting my presentation on the hardest way you could ever start a presentation. And you just happen to be here for the hardest presentation of all. Congratulations, because it's really thus the easiest. So it turns out that's Humpty Dumpty, and Humpty Dumpty fell off a wall, and his eggshells fragmented into little pieces all over the place. And so what happened is that's the shape of the universe. And I pieced Humpty Dumpty back together. And there's only one number per tile. Those are called whatever you want. Penrose columns, they named them after him, Penrose tiles, when they put tiles on the sun to model the sunspots. I use these tiles to model this, where the big red boundary lines come around it. Now you see how it's good I'm explaining this to you? Because you may not have noticed those thick red lines. So you might see that I'm very slow with you. But it's deliberate, because it's my duty to make sure you don't miss anything. Everyone still with me? So these are called world boundary conditions lines, these big, thick, red stuff, okay? And these numbers, it's one number per tile. And this is a chessboard, but it's a 3D chessboard. And this shape here is called, yes, we know it's a donut, but in science they don't call it that. Torus, T-O-R-U-S. Or tori means multiple toruses. Our body was named after it. What's our body called? A toroid, human torso, T-O-R-S-O. You know what that means? It means you're getting put through the grinder. It means, because that hole is a tor. It means it's a hole. And it means that everything is either imploding into that hole or exploding out the other side. And if you don't have that hole, you're toast. It's all over, because it's always in and out. Compression, decompression. Implosion, explosion. And it's doing something else. It's thermal. And that is this talk today. It's about heat dissipation, which is the very foundation of all physics and astrophysics, because this is modeling a black hole. And nothing goes through the hole in the center, or the hole wouldn't exist. It processes, see this red line? Spirals and defines the hole by being an aperture like our eye. because there's something, I believe, emanating in this hole that's causing this hole to not close. Okay? And that's what I'm harnessing, and that's what I found. And that emanation that's shooting out of here is traveling in a straight line. You know I could talk on this picture for an hour, and you don't have that time. And I have so much more to say, but I'm going to cut my own throat and move on. So Abha torus, 18 by 36 top-down view. So it's 36 on the circumference, 18 right here. Next, please. Now, I might just come back to this stuff later on. So I think I'm going to now whip through the conference. I'm going to give you I'm going to give you a preview instead of plodding in the mud and being slow. So this is a 60-degree angle view. No number, oh, we'll do it right here. I didn't say next. 8, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I might add that any image of this whole presentation is, in a hologram, the whole is in the part's in the whole. Doesn't matter which you take image in this explanation. I'm laughing because I'm thinking how extraordinary it is what you're seeing there. There's no words to describe the miracle of putting those numbers into place and seeing the donut from different perspectives. You have no idea how big of a deal this is in all of our lives and mankind's. So no number can ever be used amount of times more than any other amount of times. So 7, 8, 9, 1. So if I have one 50 times here, there's got to be two 50 times. It isn't if you use any number more times than any other times, you've forced an outcome. You're breaking the rules. And you've always used numbers for data. And you always move numbers around. You kept the function stationary. In a store, you'll add and give a total, or you'll multiply. I discovered that numbers don't move. To quote one of my best students, he says, numbers are stationary vector interstices. They're coming from emanations. I'm not going to show you those emanations right now, or spirit, because we're just cutting through this. But I'm telling you that I haven't told you that multiples of 1 and 8 are what you use every day. So that's why I've been using it. I've been kind of sliding you into it. But I don't use 1 and 8. I'll use other multiples. Next one, please. I'll use multiples of 2. I'll use multiples of 4. I'll use multiples of 5. And you'll have to do it before we go much further. Okay. Oh, I wonder if I can turn off these lights behind me. I don't need them at all. Yeah, less lights would be better in this presentation. Anyone mind? Okay. As much as you can without, and if there's a little faint, a few ones here and there, you just blast it, and then you can turn them back on again if you want to figure out which one it is. This one's kind of hard on me up here. Still too hard on me. That one, if you can turn off, because it glares into my glasses.
But they need light for video.
Oh, do you? No, they don't. Do you?
They do.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, do I?
Oh. Okay, tell her what you want.
One that was just here. There's got to be a neutral. No, on this one.
I didn't introduce Peter, but everybody, that's Peter. Okay, that's called a vortex well. That's a funnel. Now, I'm really roughhousing you guys. I play hard, and that's called having fun. Okay? What does it have to? If you don't have a funnel, you're not having fun. Okay? And that's called a vortex well. If you're not healthy, if you don't have that well. So all the most affirmative, positive words in our language are all based on the vortex. Did I push that too hard, that point, or is it obvious that that's true? It's obvious, isn't it?
It's true.
Thanks. Because I'm considered crazy. And because it seems like I'm reaching. I'm not reaching. Okay, and this is a cross-section view. Now you're looking at the numbers backwards, the inside of the torus. Next, please. So you're starting with the most beautiful images. You're starting at the top. So this is why I'm saying this is the hardest presentation, because you're getting the results, starting with the answer first. Is it there? Okay. I have to say that this artwork and everything represents probably the work of at least 50 people. So this is a huge endeavor by many people. Okay, kinetic energy waves of 9. Let's stay here for 1 second. What is kinetic energy? Newton's cradle, we all know what that is. Not really, but it's when you have those 5, 6 balls, you take one at the end, the other one comes out. Those balls are considered elastic. We know they're metal. You would never think of they're elastic. It's because of their density that they actually then are hard to compress, and so they actually resist and they bounce. And so if you take 2 balls, you get 2 out the end. Everybody knows that principle? Yeah. That's called kinetic energy. I have found how to see where spirit is, when and where. Now, we all know that that's incomprehensible. That's got to be impossible. Nobody's going to be grabbing spirit and catching it and sticking it in their pocket. But you will very shortly. Okay, next, please. Maybe not too shortly, but soon. This is a quote out of the scriptures. The key word was penetrates. I call on thee, O thou who penetrates all things. The other key word is all-seeing God, O all-seeing Lord of utterance, because that's called omniscience, okay? And that's what spirit does. It's a queen on a chessboard. She can go in any direction she wants. She's the only one. Only spirit can do that, because that's all a dimension is how something moves through space. That's all it is. Okay, next, please. Baha'u'llah. That's out of the Baha'i scriptures. So that's the symbol from the most great name of God. That's what I decrypted. Took 24 years to figure out how to make the torus out of that symbol. You see 3, 9, and 6 are completely separate. Here we have X, Y, and Z axes. This is positive X, negative X. Believe me, I could be explaining it much simpler, and I know it's so alien and foreign. Today we use the Cartesian coordinate system. We should have had an image up. We don't, of the standard Cartesian. And then I should have shown, you're supposed to show when making a presentation the present day state of the art and then how you improve over it. So I improve over it because I don't have just one positive axis or one positive z axis or one positive y axis. What I have is I have 6. I stagger them. So here's the positives coming out. So it's going 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1. Black should have been the reverse on this torus. Now that I see that, I wouldn't use this torus again. Because the white should have been out, the black should have been in, and but they're opposite direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, because positive emanation creates negative draft counter space. And so what happens is so I have my negative and positives for the same axis of 1 and 8 are vertical. So here it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's vertical. And we have a negative because here it is going out. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Are those numbers too little, or can you actually see them? You can see them? You can come closer if you really want to see it. It's up to you. I don't mind. So what happens is this is a dual coordinate Cartesian system. I'm not going to explain the multiplication series at this point. I did have one more point to make, but I already forgot it. This says W-axis, 3 and 6. I haven't explained that. Haven't explained anything yet. The zero's written backwards, forwards. There's a reason.